All right, Miles, let's talk about the Cleveland Browns here for a little bit. Look, this is a team coming off of last season where it didn't go the way a lot of Browns fans hoped, but going into 2023, they look a lot stronger. They made a lot of really smart moves this offseason. They're gearing up through OTAs and mini camps closer to training camp. And the Cleveland Browns very recently made a very smart, very savvy under the radar move that could potentially lead into something far bigger.
Yeah, Nick, I think the Browns have been doing a lot of really smart stuff this offseason. I think last year, just like this year, you said they're ramping up for some stuff. Last year was a ramp up year. You know, that week 11 start for Deshaun Watson started to get back into the game, get his feet underneath him. And now this is the year the Browns bring in the weapons and start to make some smart moves to make him successful. But speaking of smart, the Browns fans been very, very loyal for a very long time. They, more than any other fans in the NFL, know this team inside and out. They have stuck with them through a lot of thin, but a lot of thick lately as well, so that's good for them. But I want to know in the comments below, Browns fans, what are some under the radar takes about this team that nobody else is seeing that you, the true Browns fans, are catching on to early on? Let us know in the comments below what some of these under the radar Browns takes are. And make sure to stay tuned to the end of today's video to hear a word from our partner, and that is Neuro. They have a lot of great products to give you a quick and easy boost of energy. We love to take their mint or gum right before the show to give us that extra burst of energy, that extra edge to give you the great Browns content that you love. So stay tuned to the end of the video to hear more about Neuro and their products and to get your hands on our discount code. Nick, but nonetheless, let's get into the matter. What have the Browns done that might be a sneaky good move?
Yeah, Miles, let's go ahead and pull up the report here from SI.com. I'll read from it, give my take, then I'm curious what your thoughts are on the other side. But according to the report, this is from SI.com. To begin the week, the Cleveland Browns have made 3 roster moves. Wide receiver Rashawn Henry and tackle Hunter Thedford was signed, while Cleveland announced they released offensive lineman Joe Haeg. Releasing Haeg, this is the most important part here, saves $2 million in cap space, and it was an ideal move with him making a decent chunk of change as a backup offensive line depth. Haeg played in just 1 game for the Browns due to injury last season. He is a 7-year NFL vet and spent the first 4 seasons of his career with the Indianapolis Colts, but has bounced around since then. All right, so Haeg is obviously, like the article here noted, is just a depth guy. You know, getting rid of him, saving $2 million, adding in another depth rotational offensive lineman who may not even make the team, saving $2 million in the process makes sense. It's just good roster management. Good job by the Cleveland Browns for taking advantage of that opportunity there. But, Mize, I think a lot of eyes are opened by this because there's been a lot of rumors percolating about a big guy, a big move coming around to the Cleveland Browns potentially. Everyone's talking about DeAndre Hopkins potentially linking with Deshaun Watson. They just freed up a few $1 million more cap space. Could you see a kind of 1-year, $13 million deal, very similar to what Odell Beckham Jr. was looking for last season? And if you look at the Cleveland Browns cap space, they now sit with cap space available now, thanks to this move, a little over $14 million per overthecap.com. I'm not saying the Browns are going after Hopkins. I'm not saying it's getting close, but it kind of has the feeling that potentially a big move is around the corner, and there's no bigger move right now than getting DeAndre Hopkins into the building. What are your thoughts on this move, Miles? Does it mean they're going again, or just give me in general, what do you think of Cleveland right now?
Well, first off, Nick, I want to touch on something you said I think is really important. They say releasing Haeg saves $2 million in cap space, and it was an ideal move with him making a decent chunk of change for a backup offensive line depth. Those are words you never want to hear. Decent chunk of change for a backup offensive line depth. You don't want to be paying your backups a decent chunk of change. You want to get bargains on your backup. You want to have steals. You want to, scrape the bottom of the barrel. Try to find some undrafted guys. Try to find some veterans bouncing around on a good bargain. That's what the good teams do. And that is what the Browns are doing here, making a really smart move and saving their dollars when they can. They are strapped after restructuring Deshaun Watson's contract. It gives them a little bit more flexibility, but still they are strapped. He is owed a lot of money, so they got to get the money where they can. And I agree with you, Nick. I think this is pointing towards a big move, and we can talk about this until we're blue in the face. I can tell you, I think that, all of the stars are lining up. Deshaun played with DeAndre. They are both from Clemson. Both played at the Texans together. There makes a lot of sense that these two guys line up. And we could tell you this, but it's all speculation unless we have something to back it up with. And that's why you gotta look where the money is going. And these things usually are an indicator of what is to come. So, Nick, if we pull up the recent odds from the odds makers over at DraftKings, the full odds for DeAndre Hopkins' next team as of the filming of this video. Cleveland Browns plus 100. Buffalo Bills plus 300. Kansas City Chiefs plus 400. And sneaky one rounding out number 4 is the New England Patriots and Houston Texans at plus 1,000. Nick, I think this is very good because the Browns have extremely high odds to pick up a guy like Hopkins. It really makes a lot of sense. So when you put all things together, you put the odds in there, you put the cap moves, you put all of these things together, I think it means there's a really good chance that DeAndre Hopkins could come to Cleveland. And, we all remember when Deshaun Watson came to Cleveland, nobody expected that. I think we even released a video that he was for sure going to Atlanta, and then boom, that same day, he comes out and goes to the Browns. So no one's expecting it, and the Browns are ready to pull the trigger on big-time moves, and they can be very surprising. So I now would not be surprised at all if, with these great of odds, the Browns make a move on Hopkins.
All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro Gum. Neuro Gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.